Hare Krishna. Thanks all for joining. So now we are in the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So what is the first chapter name?
Observing the armies in the battlefield.
Observing the armies in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So in the first chapter, we have seen how Arjuna, the Pandavas and the Kauravas army being assembled in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. And Sanjaya, who is explaining to Dhritarashtra because Dhritarashtra was blind. Um, So he is explaining about like how both the armies been assembled and like what is the conversation happening over there. Initially, Duryodhana is explaining about his own army to Dronacharya, then Bhishma Dev, like then all his army members. Then the while in the first sloka itself, like okay, we can see the narrow-minded of Dhritarashtra because he is separating his son and like a Pandu's son. The other thing is he wanted like okay to recheck whether their minds been like okay changed after being assembled in the battlefield of Kurukshetra because the Kurukshetra is a place where it is Dharma Kshetra. Okay, it is Dharma Kshetra Kurukshetra. So he just wanted to reconfirm that. For that reason, like okay, um, he just to see what is happening over there. Okay, so Sanjaya got the special version, special vision from Vyasadev to see what is happening on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, and he's explaining all those things like to Dhritarashtra. Before that, like we have seen all the foundational slides. Okay, I just want everyone to be again like okay go through that because we have seen what are the four yugas and like a various devotion service like a performed in that each yuga and what is the method to reach Lord, and what is the duration of that particular yuga, and how the whole of the Brahma's lifetime been calculated. Like so, all the three Vishnus, how from Krishna to the Vishnus are coming. Like all those details we have seen. Saraswati Mataji, thanks for joining. So we will. I will send all those recording. Like you can hear all these things in the what happened in the past. So it would be like a very easy for you to understand all these things. Then and the whole first chapter, like Arjuna then saying five reasons like not to fight. So let's go over here. These are the reasons like for Arjuna not to fight, correct? He's saying, okay, first is enjoyment, then he's saying like a destruction of the family tradition and a saintliness and a fearful of sinful reaction, then compassion, like then indecision. These are the five things he's saying like not to fight. So what are the five Shankas for Pandavas and like Krishna's Shanka name is called? Krishna's Shanka name is
Panchajanya Prabhu.
Panchajanya. Yeah, very good. And Arjuna is
Devadatta.
Devadatta, very good. Okay. Then
Bhima
Yudhishthira Maharaj,
Poundra.
Bhima Poundra, Yudhishthira Maharaj is Ananta Vijaya. Okay, Ananta Vijaya is Yudhishthira Maharaj. Then Nakul and Sagadev is
Manipushpaga Sugosha.
Shugosha and Manipushpaka. Yeah, very good. Okay. So while we have seen like a various reasons how the victory been predicted for Pandavas, correct? Can anyone say that like various things we have seen, correct?
Presence of Krishna.
Presence of
Sign of
Krishna,
Hanumanji.
sign of Hanumanji, very good. Then
Presence of Lakshmi Mata as
Lakshmi Devi, because wherever
Krishna.
Krishna is there, like Lakshmi will be there. Very good. Okay. Then
It was a Dharamkshetra.
Dharmakshetra, very good. Okay, the place it is,
Dharamkshetra
and who given that chariot
and
to Arjuna?
Agni Dev.
Agni Dev, very good, Mataji. Okay, then
And conch shells, the
conch
Shankas
Shankar,
were,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, Shankar is a representation of Vishnu, so that also shows the victory for Pandavas. Very good. Then while they were blowing the shankas, like the enemies, all the Dhritarashtra's son were very fearful, correct? Like they were very fearful. So that also like it given a very tumultuous sound, which given a very it shook their minds. Like initially they were thinking, okay, they will be a winner because of like okay their great army. But after that, hearing the counsels of the Pandavas, they were like okay, fearful. The victory is going to be Pandavas. Like okay, that is one thing. Okay, then what else? Okay, these are the major things. Okay, very good. So then Arjuna saying, okay, they started. We have to think of one thing. Okay, first of all, they assembled to fight. Both the armies, like I mean, explained by Pandavas and Kauravas. They blown their Shankha also. They were about to start the fight at the time. Arjuna is saying, okay, to Krishna, please take my chariot in between both the armies, and you just, I want to see like who and all there to assemble to fight. And he's saying like these five reasons like for not fighting. These five reasons are like very important. And he's saying like the six aggressors also there, even they can be killed if they do like the sinful act. He's saying even he's okay to forgive those aggressors also, because he is thinking, okay, I should not fight. Like these are the various things. Like okay, he was saying. Huh? Then what is the acronym of first chapter? We have seen, correct? The first chapter name is Observing the Armies in the Battlefield of Kurukshetra. The acronym we have seen. What is that acronym? Easy remembrance, like for each word. I will show that acronym. Doubt is the acronym for first chapter, correct? D represents what?
Duryodhana,
Duryodhana and
Dhritarashtra,
Dhritarashtra. Yeah. Then O represents ominous
No.
result. Ominous result, correct? Yeah. Then U represents uncertainty. Uncertainty in the mind of whom? These are the various things we are seeing. Arjuna. Uncertainty in the mind of Arjuna, correct? Like then B represents a bewilderment, like because Arjuna got bewildered, correct? And then T represents a turning point. Turning point is like where Arjuna till now like considered Krishna as a friend, okay, but now from now onwards he is going to consider as a what? As a master. Okay, the second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, which is second largest in the Bhagavad Gita chapter. Okay, because the largest chapter is the longest chapter is like okay 18 chapters. So the second longest is second chapter. The second chapter name is like okay contents of the Gita summarized. Okay, here Krishna is going to talk about like a karma yoga, jnana yoga, dhyana yoga, bhakti yoga, every yoga. Okay, he's going to give the whole gist of it. One more quality we have to acquire like okay from Krishna is till now the whole first chapter like Krishna didn't speak much, correct? Like he just told, he just taken the chariot like in front of in midst of the army. So we have to have that patience, okay, because Arjuna keep on speaking, he is giving various reasons like not to fight, and Krishna is just listening, like that is another great quality we have to acquire. Okay, so the second chapter name is like a contents of the Gita summarized. And what is the acronym? This acronym, why this acronym is very important is we can summarize the whole chapter in a very short span of time by remembering this acronym. This acronym like okay been created by like a his grace like a Suttapadas. Now his name is like a because he is now like a initiating sannyasi. His name is like a his holiness Keshava Swami Maharaj. Okay, so he's a disciple of His Holiness Kadambakana Swami Maharaj. Okay, he taken the whole effort like to compress easy way of understanding like the Bhagavad Gita in this acronym format. Okay, so doubt is the first chapter's acronym. The second chapter acronym is like okay, it is Gita. Okay, the Gita represents like a G represents Guru because Arjuna is surrendering to Krishna as a guru, correct? Till now he was considering him as a friend, but now he's surrendering to guru because he is unable to fight. He is giving various reasons. He's saying like I could not able to fight. So that turning point of the Bhagavad Gita is like the 2.7, which is the Karpanya Doso Bhagata Swabhava Sloka. Okay, then I means like a identity. So because Arjuna is giving various reasons not to fight, because he's considering okay he's going to kill the body of the what to say like okay Kauravas, but Arjuna Krishna is saying no, no, you are not killing those body because like a body can never be killed. We all are not body, we are the soul. Okay, that is what Krishna is going to teach to Arjuna. So that is what being represented in the I format. Okay, I, which is identity. Our real identity is not body but soul. Okay, that is what identity. Then the two duties, okay, which is Swadharma and Sanatana Dharma. Swadharma is like our material activity, and the Sanatana Dharma is like okay, Swadharma which we does it like for our body, but the Sanatana Dharma is like which we do it for our soul. Okay, that is what Krishna is going to talk in this second chapter. Then Swadharma, Sanatana Dharma. So A represents Atma Rama, like a self-satisfied. Then Arjuna is asking, okay, how uh, the self-satisfied persons will act, will carry their self, like okay, how they will do the activity. All those things he is asking. Like then for that, Krishna is explaining like how they will act. Okay, so this is how we will learn in the second chapter. So second chapter till now, what we have seen is 1 second. Let me. So 2.1 to 10, like Arjuna's further doubts and his surrender, okay, which we have seen. Uh, so Sanjay describes like a Krishna sees, because we have covered till 2.7 last week, okay, 2.7 and 2.8. We will just go once again. So Sanjay describes Krishna sees like a Arjuna lamenting like an ignorant man and response. Then he gives like a various reasons. So let us go to 2.7. This 2.7 is one of the important sloka. So Arjuna said, now I am confused like about my duty. Huh? Yeah. This is a turning point of the Bhagavad Gita. So I am your disciple, a soul surrender unto you. Please instruct me. Okay. Karpanya doso pahata swabhavaha prachami tvam dharma samuta chetasa yashreyasha nishidam bruhi tanme sishyasteham sadi mam tvam prapannam. Prapannam means like a surrender. So then he gives like in the purport of Srila Prabhupada explaining, okay, the slides represents like the whole purport, what has been like told by Srila Prabhupada by referring like a various commentaries from various acharyas. Okay, so definition of man and material perplexity. Okay, one who does not understand the problems of life. Okay, so we also go through like a lot of perplexity situation in our life. Okay, we don't know what to do, whether to do this activity or like not to do this activity. So that they are being called as like okay the kripana, because one who is fixed. Okay, vivasaya atmika buddhi here. Okay, they know our aim is like to attain Krishna. Our aim is like to do devotion service. They are fixed. Okay, they don't have any problem, but the kripana is like okay, one who don't know what to do, what not to do. Okay, so they are being called as kripana. So one who does not utilize the most valuable asset of a living entity, human form, like because our purpose of life is to understand our existence, uh, how to get out from this material world. Okay, that is what we have seen in the foundational slides. Okay, what four things are common in this material world?
birth, disease, death.
Old age, yeah, birth, death, old age, disease. Okay, these four things are common from the lower planet till Satya Loka, which is Brahma Loka, correct? No one can escape. Okay, so if we want to get out from this world, okay, these four things are non-existent in the spiritual world. That is the reason, like, okay, we have to get out from this material world to the spiritual world by performing bhakti. So that is what, like, okay, we have to understand. That is our purpose of life. Okay, one who wasted their time in this material body, because otherwise, like, it would be a punarapi maranam, punarapi jananam. Okay, it would be keep on repeating if we are not understanding the purpose of life. Okay, we just come, exist, like, okay, enjoy, then suffer, then get the body based upon our karma, out of like 84 lakh species, like it will keep on happening. Okay, we should not do that particular thing. Okay, then suffers from the skin disease, which refers to attachment to the family life. Okay, um, and there is some story also, correct? Like, okay, one couple, like, okay, they just married and they got the children. They got the children. Like at the time, the person been approaching to that guy. Okay, can you just let me know, like, when you are going to? I think, like, okay, Yamadev or whomsoever coming. So they are asking, okay, can you just come? Your time is over. And immediately he's saying, no, 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 my I didn't see, like, my children growing. Okay, then he's waiting, and the children, his son, like, okay, completed his college and everything. Then he's coming. Okay, now you saw your children growing. Like, can you come with me? Your time is over. Then he's saying, okay, no, no, no. I want to see him get married. Okay. Then he's saying, okay, fine, let him married. After marriage, he wants to see, like, their grandchildren. Likewise, like, the desires are endless, and we keep on, like, trying to be in this material world, uh, didn't understand, like, what is our purpose of life. Okay, the bliss what we can get in the spiritual world is, like, okay, uncomparable. So that we have to understand. Okay, so we are quits, like, okay, cats and dogs without understanding of the self realization. Okay, the purport of this verse is to approach a bona fide spiritual master. That is what important, correct? How Arjuna surrendered to Krishna as a bona fide spiritual master, we also, like, need to understand, okay, how to surrender to a guru and to get his instruction, to get his teaching. Okay, and apply in the practical life. Like, that is what very important. A person with a bona fide spiritual master is supposed to be known everything. Okay, once you we surrender to the spiritual master, we know, like, what to perform, because the spiritual master, the guru is going to, spiritual master is like nothing but guru. The guru will guide us, okay, what to do. Okay, and this thus one should not remain in this material perplexity, but approach a spiritual master. That is what we have to understand. The material perplexity and the forest fire, like, they have the analogy. So both happen without desire and without being said by anyone. Okay, the material perplexity, without without, like, okay, we wanted that to happen, it will come automatically because of, like, okay, our endless desire stored in our mind. Okay, so, and without being said by anyone, because we see forest fire, correct? That forest fire will not be set by anyone. Okay, two trees will collide, and that will create, like, some forest fire, which will be spread across, like, the whole forest, which will burn the whole forest. The similar way, the impressions which stored in our mind, the material impressions stored in our mind, will get collided at the right time, and will create, like, a perplexity in the mind. Okay, that is how we are just getting entangled in this material world. Hope you are able to understand, like, what I'm saying. So without we wanted, it will happen automatically. So that should not happen. Okay, that is what we need to understand. The intelligent, like, okay, utilizes the human body to solve all the problems of life. Okay, the mode of understanding the Arjuna knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna versus mundane scholar, is like, okay, correct mode is Arjuna is not ignorant. Arjuna been made as ignorant, so that, like, Krishna teaches the Bhagavad Gita for the welfare of all the future generation. That has to be our mood. Okay, because otherwise Arjuna is, like, a very, very scholar. scholarly person. He knows everything. He has been put into the situation by Krishna so that Krishna can speak Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna via Arjuna, and that can be like a referred by all of us, like as we are referring now or in the future also. Correct? Incorrect modus, like a mundane scholar will think, okay, Arjuna is very ignorant. He has been put into the he why? How come he came into this situation? That is the mundane scholar, like I will think. That is not the correct mood. Okay. Then in the 2.8 also we have seen no other means to drive away grief. Okay, even victory or opulence cannot dispel Arjuna's lamentation. He's saying, okay, I win or I lose. Okay, I am not going to enjoy the kingdom derived. So I am not going to fight. I am not ready to fight. Okay, so till now we have seen this particular thing. Here also purposes solving material perplexities, like a problem of life is academic knowledge or scholarship questions are useless because whatever we study in the in our academics, like okay, will not going to help how to get out from this material world, because all those things are uh, whatever we studied in seventh grade, okay, we will not study in the eighth grade, correct? So likewise, whatever we studied in our college or like okay, in our day-to-day life, many we may not use in practical, like in our professional or personal life. But this Bhagavad Gita, whatever we are learning, it is going to come along with our soul. So the time spent, the effort spent, now it is going to be like a very effect and a very useful for our soul, because it is not going to be wasted. Even in our next life also, the soul carries whatever devotion service we have done. That is the only thing we will carry. Okay, that have been said, confirmed by Krishna also in this chapter. Neha Vikramana Sosti Pratyavayo na Vityade Swalpam Apiyasya Dharmasya Dhrayate Mahatobaya. Swalpam, even a very little thing you do, it comes along with our soul. So that is very, very important to understand. Okay, temporary nature of economic development. Okay, the worldly supremacy, all these things are like a useless. That is what he is saying. Okay, then only Krishna or his representatives as a spiritual master can help. Who is a bona fide spiritual master? Like the guru. Who is a bona fide guru is guru has two meaning: one who is 100% Krishna consciousness, one who solve all problems of life. All problems of life is like, okay, the problems of our life is four things, which is four defect, okay, which is the birth, death, old age, and disease. The gurus solve all these four problems or defects of the life by just uplifting the living entity from this material world to the spiritual world. That is what the guru does. Guru will not solve, okay, if I don't have the money, he will get me like, okay, 10,000 rupees. No, that is not the purpose, or like that is not the work of a guru. The task assigned for a guru is like how he can practice devotional service, and how he can influence, how he can make the disciple to practice devotional service and to uplift from this world to the spiritual world. Okay, that is what we mentioned. Only way to real happiness is Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. Consult Krishna through his representative, which is the bona fide spiritual master. Till now, everything is okay. Like, okay, any doubt? Now we will see the 2.9 sloka. Hare Krishna. He says, Sanjaya Vacha Evam Yuktva Hrishikesham Gudakeshaka Parantapaha Nayotsayo Idi Govindam Uktva Tushnim Bahuba Vaha. So Sanjaya Vacha. Okay, Sanjay is saying, Evam Yuktva Rishikesham. Rishikesham means like, okay, we already seen Rishikesha, the master of senses, correct? Gudakesha is like, okay, the Arjuna, the master of curbing ignorance. Okay, so that is the reason Arjuna have been called as Gudakesha. Okay, then he's saying, Sanjaya said, having spoken thus, Arjuna, the chastiser of the enemies, told Krishna, Govinda, I shall not fight, and fell silent. Okay, so now Arjuna is saying all these reasons. After something, also he's saying, like, I shall not fight Govinda. So please instruct me. Like this is what the this particular sloka refers. Then 2.10. Tamuvacha Rishikeshah Prahasaniva Bharata Senayorubayormadye Visitantam idam vachaha. O descendant of Bharata, at that time Krishna, smiling in the midst of both the armies, spoke the following words to the grief-stricken Arjuna. So Arjuna, Krishna listens till now, like whatever Arjuna says. Okay, now he is smiling, and because why he is smiling? Because he is not seeing the reason for Arjuna not to fight. Because at the end of the day, like Krishna is making Arjuna to say all these things so that Krishna can instruct the Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna and to all the future generation. Okay, that is the reason he is smiling in the midst of armies, spoke the following words like to the grief-stricken Arjuna. Okay, that is what he is going to say. But Krishna is going to be coming very hard to Arjuna while he is saying. Okay, we'll see the next sloka 11. See Bhagavan we already seen. Okay, while Sanjaya is saying, while Sanjaya, while Sanjaya is saying like it would be Sanjaya Vacha. While Arjuna is saying, we are seeing Arjuna Vacha, correct? But to Krishna, while he is speaking, it is not Krishna Vacha, it is Sri Bhagavan Vacha, correct? If Kunti is Maharani is saying, like it would be Kunti Vacha, but only for Dhritarashtra Vacha, correct? But for Krishna, it is Sri Bhagavan Vacha. Why Krishna only can be called as Bhagavan? What we have seen? By Parasara Muni, like he is explaining um, six opulences. Very good. Okay, so Bhagavan, one who can be called as Bhagavan, who possesses the six opulence in full all the time, correct? So for that, the easy form, the sloka is Aishwaryasya Samagrasya Viryasya Yashasasriyaga Jnana Vairagya Yochaiva Sannam Baha Idinkana. So these six opulences, easy remembrances, Forbes, 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 correct? The Forbes F represents fame, O represents opulence, and R represents renunciation. B represents the beauty. E represents the education or knowledge. S represents the strength. So Forbes, if we remember that Forbes like a acronym or the simplified form, we can remember all the six opulences. That Krishna only possesses all the time in full. Okay, someone may be beauty, but they may not be strength. They may not have that strength. Okay, but Krishna possesses strength, the opulence, the beauty, the knowledge, the renunciation, and the fame. This we have seen already, like in the foundational slides. Please refer all those like previous covered topics. Okay, so which will help us like to remember all these things. Okay, Shri Bhagavan असश्चन् अन्वशोषस्त्वं प्रज्ञवादंश्च भाषसे गतासुन् अगतासुंश्च नानुशोचन्ति panditaha. So he is coming very hard to Arjuna, who Krishna is coming very hard. Asocyan, not worthy of lamentation. Anvasochaha, you are lamenting. Tvam Prajanvadan, yeah, learned talks. Okay, the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, while speaking learned words, you are mourning for what is not worthy of grief. So Krishna is saying, you seems to be like a very learned person, but you are speaking like a which is not at all useful, not at all worthy of grief. Okay. Those who are wise lament neither for the living nor for the dead. Those who are wise, one who is intelligent, he will not lament. Lament means like okay, we keep on cribbing, we keep on saying, okay, this is not good, that is not good, or what to do, what to not to do, like that is the lamentation. So those who are wise, those who are intelligent, lament neither for the living being nor for the dead. Okay, that is what Krishna start speaking to Arjuna. Okay, then the next sloka, Natva evaham jatu nasam natvam neme janadipaha na chaiva na bhavishyamaha sarve vayam atah param. Never there was a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings, nor in the future shall any of us cease to be. What he's saying is like a Krishna is saying, never was there a time like when I did not exist, or you did not exist, or like all the living beings did not exist. Everyone was there, will be there. Okay, what he's saying, our souls, it will never perish. Okay, no one can kill the soul. Okay, that is what he want to preach to Arjuna. Okay, so that is what he is saying. The next sloka, the purport we will see in the slides. This very important sloka. Okay, it is to be by hearted, and we have to remember and recollect many a times in our life. Okay, Dehinosmin yada dehe kaumaram yavvanam jara tada dehantara praptir dhirastatra na muhyadi. So he's saying Dehino, the embodied asmin Yata Dehe means like a body. Kaumara means like a from boyhood, the small boy. Then Yavana means like a youth, and Jara means old. Okay. Kaumaram Yavanam Jara. Okay. Tata Deha Antara. Okay. Transferred the body. Uh, Praptihi achievement. Okay. Dhiraha means sober, who is lamenting. Okay. Then Tatra, thereupon, Na never. Mukhyanti is like, okay, Mukhyati is deluded. Okay, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, first sloka also like it will come Mukhyati, correct? So Mukhyati is like a deluded. As the embodied soul continuously passes, the soul passes like a, from one body to another body. At that time, like say, how it is passing, it has been said as like in this body from boyhood to youth age to old age. The soul similarly passes from one body to another. So how our body changes from boyhood to youth to like okay the old age, the similar way the soul passes from one body to another body at the time of death. Okay, a sober person is never bewildered, not bewildered by such change, because it is a reality, correct? While the Yamadev is asking Yamaraj like okay asking to Yudhishthira Maharaj, what is the wonder, or like okay, what you are seeing as a greatest thing in this particular life? What you are getting surprised like okay, by seeing in this life? Then Yudhishthira Maharaj is saying, everyone sees every other person is like a dying at a very moment, correct? But when the death comes to our own family member, or like us, we are thinking as if like okay we are not going to die. So that is what like is surprising him, because the death is like okay the confirmed truth which is going to happen. But still we lament for the body, because like okay, we are so attached to the family relationship, and to our okay my son, my daughter, my grandmother, my grandfather. So the sober person like okay is not bewildered by such changes. um, the dhira is like okay he is not affected, the sober person. Okay, so he is not going to be bewildered by these changes, correct? Because we all know birth, death, old age and disease is going to happen in this material world. As long as we are in this material world, it is going to happen, no one can escape. But Vijayashrama is thinking like everyone is thinking we are not going to die, our relatives are not going to die. So that is what they are thinking. They are making like okay the plans after plans like for their existence and for their future. Correct. So this is it is a it is a said universal truth. Okay, That is what we have to learn from this sloka. So how the body changes from youth to sorry, boyhood to youth to old age. The similar way, like a soul passes from one body to another. A sober person like is never bewildered by such change. Okay, the next sloka. मात्रा स्पर्शास्तु कौन्तेय शीतोष्ण सुख दुःखः आगमापायिनो अनित्यस् सांस्थितिक स भारत. This is also important sloka. So matra sparsastu kaunteya. How the sensory perception, okay, um, it changes the Sitoshna Sukha Dukkha. Sitoshna means like okay, Sita means winter, and Ushna means like a summer. Uh, Sukha means like a happiness, Dukkha means pain. Correct? O son of Kunti, the non-permanent appearance of happiness and distress. Uh, the uh, the Zoom connection will go now. Please rejoin. Okay, I just want to mention. The O son of Kunti, the non-permanent appearance of happiness and distress, and their disappearance in due course, or like the appearance and disappearance of winter and summer seasons. They arise from sense perception, O sign of Bharata, and one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed. How the seasons are coming, the winter season just getting over in Dubai, and the summer is going to start, correct? Or already started. The similar way, happiness and distress, like okay, it will come, keep on happening, correct? It will be the yeah. So how yeah.
Yes, sir.
So how that happiness and distress, like it is a non-permanent. Nothing is permanent in this material world because this material world is called like a dukkhalayam ashashvatam, correct? No, nothing is permanent. Everything is like okay, temporary. That is what called as like okay, dukkhalayam ashashvatam. Shashvatam means permanent. Ashashvatam means like a non-permanent. It is not permanent. Okay, then it is dukkha alayam. It is the place of miseries. Like that is what been mentioned. Okay, so the non-permanent appearance of happiness and distress. It is equivalent to like okay, how the uh, appearance and the disappearance of the summer and the winter season. Correct? Like nothing. The summer is not going to stay all the time. Correct? The winter is not going to stay all the time. So the similar way, the happiness and the distress. Like okay, it is. It is going to be like okay, keep on changing. Yeah, so we have to tolerate how even in summer also how much ever the hot like okay, still matajis will go and cook in their kitchen, correct? The similar way in the winter also like they will cook. The similar way, the we have to tolerate how they are tolerating the heat and the cooking, the boga. The similar way we have to tolerate the happiness and the distress situation. We should not too much boggle too much like okay, what to say, uh, exciter like a while we are happy, and we should not like a too much bogged down while we are in distressed state. Okay, we have to take both these conditions in a similar manner, and we have to practice the devotional service. They arise from the sense perception. Okay, all these summer, winter, and the happiness and a distress all are from the sense perception, which is towards the body, but we are not the body, we are the soul, correct? The soul can never be killed, it can never be like a submerged in the water, it can never like a get catch of like a fire. So all these characteristics will be explained by Krishna in the upcoming sloka. So that is what we need to understand, like we need to accept the happiness or distress moment in the similar manner. Okay, we have to accept like the summer and winter in the similar manner. That is what like they been said by Krishna to Arjuna. Oh, sign of Bharata, one must learn to tolerate them like okay, without being disturbed. Okay, that is what been said. So we have to tolerate. That is important quality we have to accumulate. Okay. Yam hina vyatah yanti ete purusham purushar sabaha Samadukka Shukam Dhiram Somrittavyaya Kalpate. So Purusha means to a person, like, okay, oh, best among men. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, best among men, Arjuna, the person who is not disturbed by happiness and distress and is steady in both is certainly eligible for liberation. Okay. So we all know we need to liberate from this material world to the spiritual world. So how we are getting eligible, that is what been mentioned by Krishna in this sloka. Okay. One who is not disturbed by happiness or distress and steady in both state, okay, happiness and distress state, is certainly eligible. He is not saying eligible. He is confirming it. He is certainly eligible for the liberation. Certainly. Krishna is giving the confirmation, double confirmation. He is giving the assurance, okay. They are definitely eligible for the liberation and they will go to the spiritual world. That is what been, like I mentioned, by Krishna over here. Okay. Then the next sloka, 2.16. नासतो विद्यते भावो न भावो विद्यते सतः उभयोरपि दृष्टन अन्तस्त्वनयोस्तत्त्वदर्शिभिः is saying those who are seers of the truth have concluded that the non-existent, the material body, there is no endurance, and of the eternal, there is no change. Okay. This they have concluded by studying the nature of both. Okay. Those who are seers of the truth. Okay. Uh, Tattva Darshinaha, that is what I say. The Tattva Darshinaha means Tattva means like the truth. Darshibihi means like the seers. One who sees the truth, one who is the experienced, who has seen this, have concluded that the non-existence, the material body is non-existent. It is temporary, correct? There is no endurance. There is no permanent thing for a material body. Material body, even our nails are growing, correct? Like they are decomposed and getting like, okay, created, recreated, correct? Recreated. Our body, like whatever our body, if you see, we are not the same body as we have been around 10 years back, correct? Not even like 10 years, around 1 month back, because our hairs are growing, our nails are growing, like our body cells are growing, like all these things are growing. So there is no endurance, like, okay, there is no permanent thing for that body. It is non-existent. It is not the permanent, okay? And of the eternal, but at the same time, the eternal, the soul, there is no change at all. The size of the soul will be explained if you take a tip of a hair and cut that like 1,000 pieces, and from that one piece, like again, sorry, tip of a hair, just like a cut by 1,000 pieces, and that one piece, like, okay, that is the size of the soul. That soul size is not getting changed. It is not increasing. It is not decreasing. It is the same size of the soul, correct? So that is what he is saying. Like, okay, no, what Krishna is saying, this has been confirmed by the Tattva Darshibihi. They are like, okay, all the seers of the truth, like, have confirmed. This they have concluded by studying the nature of both. This they didn't just say that, okay, they have concluded by studying of both body and soul. That is what been said over here, correct? So we will stop in this particular sloka. We will go to the slides, okay, the reading the purport. So in the 2.9 say Arjuna says, I shall not fight. Okay, Govinda, I shall not fight. This is what he's saying. In the purport, like, okay, what is being mentioned is purpose of using the word Parantapa, the chastiser of the enemy. Sanjaya disappoints Dhritarashtra by declaring Arjuna as competent to kill the enemies. So when Arjuna is not ready to fight, who was very happy in their heart?
Dhritarashtra.
Dhritarashtra was very happy because he sees, okay, now my sons is going to be victorious. Okay, that is what he's saying. But Sanjaya still disappoints Dhritarashtra by saying that, okay, uh, chastised of the enemy, Parantapa, okay, by declaring Arjuna is competent to fight, but he is now confused like a not to fight. But he is going to fight. That is what he is saying, okay. Sanjaya informs Dhritarashtra that Arjuna was temporarily overwhelmed, but has how surrendered to Krishna because he surrendered to Krishna, he will instruct Krishna will instruct Arjuna and he will inspire to fight. Okay, so don't think that okay Arjuna is not going to fight and Kauravas will be the winner. So he's cautioning to Dhritarashtra. Sanjay is cautioning to Dhritarashtra by calling Krishna as a Parantapa because Arjuna is just put into the state for a temporary moment, but since he surrendered to Krishna, he will fight, he will get the inspiration from Krishna to fight. Okay, that is what he's saying. Three effects of surrender which manifest in Arjuna is first, he will get enlightenment. Okay, he will get the knowledge from Krishna. Okay, that is first thing. Second thing is freedom from false lamentation. His false lamentation is like a due to he's connecting to the body. That is the reason like he is getting false lamentation, but that will be like okay eradicated by Arjuna surrendering to Krishna. Then reinstatement in his own duty. Okay, as a Kshatriya, he has to fight, but he is now saying various reasons not to fight. He's even ready to go and beg, like okay, he's saying I will go and beg rather than like a fighting with my own kingsman, my own father, grandfather, um, my own brothers, like sons, all those things he's saying. Okay, so these three things are very important. So first, if we are surrendering to Krishna, we will get the enlightenment. We will get like okay, the freedom from false lamentation or false ego. Then reinstatement in his own duty. We will get reinstated in our own duty. Okay, Arjuna would surely fight. That is what he is highlighting to Dhritarashtra. Okay, then Krishna smiling in the midst of both armies spoke first thus following words. Okay, Krishna said, start speaking. Krishna accept the role of a devotee's desire, either like a friend or guru. He always maintained supremacy. Krishna was smiling because a friend had chosen to become a disciple. So that is another reason for Krishna to smile. Because still now, like a Krishna treated, sorry, Arjuna treated Krishna as a friend, but now since due to indecision and that five reasons not to fight, like okay, Arjuna is surrendering to Krishna as a disciple. Okay, the Bhagavad Gita is openly discussed between the two armies. Okay, therefore, this knowledge is not for any particular person. That is the reason, like our Sanatana Dharma, it is not for like a okay, only Hindu religion, only this one, like a no. It is entirely like a for every human being, every living entity. It is that is what like a been said the Bhagavad Gita is spoken like a widely in the Krishna didn't speak to Arjuna on his ears. Okay, Krishna spoken on the open forum, which was heard by Kauravas also. But only Arjuna been transformed after hearing Krishna's Bhagavad Gita, not the Kauravas. Kauravas like a still they are thinking, okay, when we are going to start the fight. But only like a one who is been blessed by the Lord, one who is having the inquisitiveness, like okay, to learn about Bhagavad Gita, they only can get the Bhagavad Gita in their heart and can apply the Bhagavad Gita in their practical life. Like that is what important. So because this been multiple times, like it will be said, to get the knowledge, to get the mercy from the Lord, we should not have enviness. Okay, the enviness was not present in Pandava's army, but it was present hugely in the Kauravas army. Correct. So friends and enemies are equal entitled to hear this message. Okay, so that is what being said over here. And Arjuna's symptoms and the doubt continues. Finally decided he shall not fight. We already see he is unable to resolve material knowledge. Okay, needs to surrender to spiritual master, 100% bona fide spiritual master, who is like he is surrendering himself to Krishna. Okay, the material problems we already seen, birth, death, old age, and disease. Okay, cannot be solved by either wealth or like economic development. It can only be solved by like a surrendering to the bona fide spiritual master, who is the Krishna or like the Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, because they will dispel the doubts and lamentation. They will remove the perplexity in their life, in our all life. That is the reason whenever we see we are into the problem, we have to surrender to Krishna, we have to surrender to Guru, we have to surrender to these great scriptures like a Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay. Then 11 to 13, okay, death is eternal. Sorry, death is the eternal soul changing from one body to another. Therefore, there is since no soul can die, okay, Arjuna would not be killing. That is what he's saying, like he's inspiring him to fight. In the 11th sloka, okay, Krishna chastises Arjuna, the truly wise do not make any mistake. And because like the body to be the self, we should not think, okay, we should not lament neither for the living being nor for the dead. Okay, so Krishna chastises Arjuna, you're talking like a learned man, but you are a fool. Indirectly he's saying, spiritually, like whatever you are saying doesn't make any sense. Like, okay, so you are talking which is not correct. Okay, that he's saying he is as a fool. So who is a learned man? Learned man is the one who differentiates between body and soul, in which body is temporary, soul is eternal. This is what like how we have to thank this Amarthananda Prabhu, okay, because he put all these things in a very simplified form, in the whole purport, like in a simplified form to represent us, to represent like okay, very easy form of understanding and which can hold our mind. Okay, the learned man differentiates between body and the soul, whereas body is like okay, the temporary and the soul is permanent, correct, eternal. The controller of both, who Krishna is the controller of both, who differentiates like okay between matter and spirit. Okay, that matter and the spirit, and a learned man who knows like a who can differentiate between matter and the spirit. Okay, who knows Krishna as a controller of both, and who differentiates like the body and soul also. Okay, so knows difference between body and soul. Do not lament for body, whether it is dead or alive. Body is born and destined to vanquish. Therefore, body is not as important as the soul. Okay, that is what important thing. Lord Krishna taking the role of spiritual master and chastises Arjuna. So this is how like the whole our body and soul in our life. Okay, the soul is spiritual. The soul is covered with like a subtle body. And then it is covered with like a life air prana in our inner system. Then it is covered with like a gross body. Easy understanding is how a batsman is going to hit the boundary by using his bat, which is being held by the hand, correct? But from the hand, he's not holding the bat like directly. He is wearing the gloves, correct? In the cricket, if you see, the hand will be protected by the gloves, and via that gloves, like he is going to hold the bat, correct? The batsman in the cricket. The similar way, the soul is considered as like a hand, and that soul is like a covered by the gloves, which is like okay, nothing but a subtle body and a life air prana and the gross body. Okay, the life between gross and gross body, which is matter, and the soul spiritual is like a subtle body. Okay, the link between gross body and subtle body is like the prana, the life air. Okay, the gross body is material, life air is material, subtle body is material, only the soul is spiritual. Okay. The gross body represents like all the Panchabhuta, earth, water, fire, air, ether. Okay. The physical body with the sense and the jnana indriya, karma indriya, there are 24 senses, correct? Like a working senses and the knowledge acquiring senses. All these things will come here in the gross body. The life air is like a prana, apana, samana, vyana, udana, network of air, like there are coordinating the bodily functions. Okay, the if the air and fire, water, air, ether, like okay, all these things not there in our body, na, this body will be called as like a dead body. So this gross body and the life air, like making our life as a functioning thing. But the subtle body is like the mind, intelligence, false ego. These are the subtle body. Then the soul is like, okay, the soul existence in the body only making us live. Okay, if the soul is departing from our body, we will be called as like a dead body. The soul representation is like a Satchitananda. Okay, so this is very important thing to understand. So our body consists of like the gross body, then life air, then subtle body, then the soul. Okay, in that soul is only the spiritual thing. All other subtle body, gross body, and the life air is like, okay, the material. It will get composed. Okay, the Krishna chastises Arjuna, who's learned. Okay, Arjuna is learned, but he's hearing. He's here. He's acting as like, okay, he don't know anything. Definition of learned man is like a one who knows like, okay, the difference between body and soul, and matter and the spirit. Okay, the definition of knowledge is like a to know the matter and the soul and the supreme controller of both. Okay, different levels of Shastra. Okay, the Shastra establishes a Jnana Shastra, then Dharma Shastra. Jnana Shastra is like a knowledge of body and the soul to be higher than Dharma Shastra, which is like, okay, um, recommendation of Dharma Shastra. Because Arjuna is saying, due to Dharma Shastra, I am not fighting, because he's thinking, okay, he will accumulate a sin, but which is not the case. Okay, Krishna here saying the Jnana Shastra is higher than the Dharma Shastra. Then Arjuna called foolish because the intelligence is used without considering the essential nature of the soul. Okay, then never was never was there a time when I did not exist. Okay, who is Krishna is saying, never was the time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings. Okay, nor in the future shall any of be. Everyone will be existing all the time, like because we are the soul. Okay, that is what being said. This little bigger purport. Okay, the supporting verse for eternal individuality. Okay, we are all eternal. They are always there. Okay, we are not via body but via soul. Only a devotee can understand the Bhagavad Gita and the concept of spiritual individuality. We cannot understand. Who was like an envious person cannot understand. Okay, the failure of Mayavada, analogy to explain like a failure of Mayavada is bees licking the bottle of honey. The honey can be tasted inside the bottle, correct? But if someone like a foolish, if they just lick the bottle of honey, they are not going to get any taste. That is a similar thing like a Mayavada. He uh, listens only partial thing, and he will interrupt in his own way, and he will go and explain to the world, which is not the correct. You have to really taste the nectar of the honey from opening the bottle. Opening the bottle is like a opening the scripture, learn the full thing whatever been said in the scripture, understand, then like a inform to others. Okay, that is what been said over here. The reputation of Maya, what is their theory? Individual soul is separated and broken from original consciousness. After liberation, the soul merges or dissolves like a inhomogeneous into impersonal Brahman. These are the Maya, the philosopher. But we all know like a soul is ever existing, and soul will be like a part and parcel of the Lord. Okay, the individual soul is not separated from the original consciousness. All the time it is there. Okay, so like this, like a Mayavada and uh, the spiritual thing is like been differentiated over here. See, as we see, the honey cannot enjoy the honey. Honey bee cannot enjoy the honey real nectar or near real taste of the honey, like by just licking the bottle outside. It has to go inside the honey bottle, and it can enjoy the taste. Correct? So never was the time like when Krishna did not exist, spirit soul did not exist, or like a kings did not exist. Spirit soul is like a eternally existing. Spirit soul is like a individual. Okay, supreme personality of God eternally maintaining the jivas. Lord Krishna is not under the Maya. Otherwise, like the knowledge given by him is like a useless, because Krishna ever existing. But Maya, what they say, they are in conditioned state. They are covered by Maya. liberated state. Mayavada is like, okay, they are not in a liberated state, okay? They are always in the confused state. The jnana is like a knowledge of the soul. See how the boyhood to youth and like, okay, they go into the old age. The similar way, the soul takes like a from one body to another. Okay, boyhood, youth, old age, at the time like a death, then the soul gets like a new body. The analogy is like a changing dress, how we are changing each day like a one dress. The similar way, the soul changes from one body to another body. Correct. The following points are addressed, like a spirit soul is eternally never changing. Body is always changing from the boyhood to youth and the old age. Spirit soul gets next body based upon the activities of our the current body. Okay, Arjuna should not lament for Bhishma or Drona's body change, as they will never get killed. Okay, and one more thing is they will get like a nice thing because of their current karma also. Okay, then Dhira, the sober man who perfectly knows individual soul and the super soul and the nature of like a both material and the spiritual, and never bewildered by changes the body or death. Okay, so they never get bewildered between the body and soul, matter and the spirit. Okay, there is no cause for lamentation. Definition of dhira we have seen. Soul is never equal to super soul. That we will see what is the difference between like the soul and the super soul. It is as good as like, okay, we are equal in quality. We are equal. We are one sec. We are equal in quality, but quantity we are differing. Okay, the soul and super soul. Super soul is like a Krishna. Soul is like a individual jiva. The how the ocean water. If you take a drop of a water and the ocean water, the quality or taste characteristics are going to be same, but the quantity differs. Correct. The similar way, the soul and super soul are equal in quality, but quantity differs. Okay, that is what been mentioned here. The dhira is like a not bewildered by anything. The Mayavadi refutation we already seen in the previous slide. 2.14, like eligibility for liberation is tolerant. How who is eligible for liberation? Who can get like, okay, the door opened and the spiritual thing is like, okay, we have to tolerate happiness and distress, which is non-permanent and arise from sense perception, like which we have seen. Tolerate the dualities, like how non-permanent appearance of the happiness and distress, like we need to tolerate. They arise from the sense perception. They learn to tolerate like them without being disturbed. Okay, why prescribed duties are essential? Because our that's what like a swadharma and sanatana dharma. Okay, the prescribed duties are essential because it is required for our spiritual advancement. Okay, then we have to concentrate more on our sanatana dharma, like which is the activity for our soul. Whatever classes we are attending here, like it is going to help us to uplift our consciousness and uplift our like a spiritual activity to get from this material world to the spiritual world. Importance of Kaunteya and Bharata, like okay, because Kaunteya is a mother of son of mother Kunti. Then Bharata is like, okay, descendant of the king Bharata. He comes from the Yadu dynasty, correct? Like, okay, the base of tolerating dualities, like, they know from, we already seen, like, it is from the sense perception. The focus of the higher purpose we have to, yeah. But when we have a higher goal, our purpose of life is like to get the liberation. At that time, like we have to, that is the reason, like we have to tolerate these dualities. So we already seen, like, okay, in the winter month, someone in the Margashisha month, like, okay, we have to get up early and we have to take the bath, correct? The woman cooking in the May or June summertime, that also we have seen, because they are tolerating all these things, correct? To fight as a religion, like even when relatives, if needed, when to protect dharma, like you go any extent, like to fight, correct? Um, then in the next loka, focus on the higher goal of liberation, then overcome the dualities of happiness and distress by tolerance. This we already seen. Um, The spiritual goal, like okay, our first goal is like to liberate from this material world to the spiritual world. Eligibility for liberation is like a study in the prescribed duty and tolerate. Like these are the two things. We have to do our prescribed duty, Swadharma and Sanatana Dharma, and we have to tolerate. Then we are eligible for the liberation. Okay. The examples are given. How Chaitanya Mahaprabhu like renounces the wife and mother at an early stage, like okay, early age for the preaching mission. Okay, he for preaching purpose, like he even uh, renounced his wife and mother. Correct. The second example is Arjuna is also advised, like okay, to preserve his duty as a Kshatriya, like he has to fight. For that, like okay, he has to tolerate, even if he has to like kill his own family members. Correct. At the cost of fighting with his own family members, like he has to tolerate. So the happiness, like it appears and disappears, like a distress also appear and disappears. We have to tolerate without being disturbed, then we are eligible for the liberation. Okay, that is the key to Bhagavad Gita. So this is very important. The key to Bhagavad Gita is like we have to tolerate. We have to do our prescribed duty and we have to tolerate. Okay. Then the 2.16 vision of seers of truth. Like okay, they know the non-existence material body. There is like a no endurance, but the spirit soul is like there is no change. Okay, so body, spirit, and all the details been mentioned here, because body is like going to it changes and it is going to compose. Soul never changes. All opinions agree, like they are supporting references also there. The ignorant only like I will think okay, we are the body, but the real knowledgeable people like I will know that okay, we are not the body, we are the soul, by reading all these scriptures and listening from Guru. Understanding the nature of supreme is like okay, one can understand all these things only by studying the scriptures, Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, and surrendering to a Guru. Okay, that is very important. The purpose of Bhagavad Gita is like to drive away all the illusion and ignorance, like okay, then enlightenment, like three things we are getting by surrendering to the Guru. Correct. One is enlightenment, the other is like okay, the false ignorance or false ignorance will vanish. Then we are reinstate our duty. Correct. Like we are getting what is our prescribed duty. Correct. So this, with this, like we will end today's class. Thanks all for joining and listening. As I mentioned, please pass this knowledge um, to your friends and nears and dears. Like if anyone wants to join from next week, please forward to them, like so that they can join and they can get benefited. Any questions like till now? Please feel free to ask the question, which would be beneficial for you or like anyone else also. Hare Krishna. Any questions?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I have no question, but I would like to thank you for sharing the details with me to join the session. I'm joining for the first time, and I really like the session, Prabhu. It's such nectarian wisdom to start off the weekend and all. So thank you so much for sharing, Prabhu. I'll definitely share it with some of my friends and family to join these sessions. It happens on every Saturday, Prabhu.
Yeah, Mazi, it happens every Saturday, like from India time, like a 9:30 to 10:30. So please, like, feel free. Thanks all
Okay.
for joining, Mataji. Like, very happy that in a very short span of time, like, you joined. Please forward. This is our 11th or like a 12th week. Okay, we are in. We covered. I will share you like okay the previous recorded links also, so that they can you can also can go through, because we have we have covered the foundational concepts, like okay, various things. What are the 5 topics of Bhagavad Gita? What are the 4 yugas? How the yuga calculation is, and how the Vishnus are coming from Krishna. So then why we are struggling in this particular material world? What is the difference between like a Krishna and Arjuna's quality? All these things we covered. So it would be very useful, like, okay, for us to understand and realize, then we can preach to others also. Please feel free to take this, like, okay, to and share it with your friends, and please inform them, like, okay, so that they also can join and benefit. Why I'm saying is, like, okay, Krishna says in the end of Bhagavad Gita, one who preaches his knowledge, okay, about Krishna, they are the most dear to Krishna. Okay, so if we want to be dear to Krishna, please, like, let us pass this knowledge to others. Like, okay, that is what the purpose of our life. Thanks, Mataji, for sharing the feedback. Okay, so if no further questions, like, I will stop the recording, and I will